If the United States were to strike Iran's military and nuclear facilities, Iran would respond, but it faces a battlefield of asymmetry, where it must compensate for its small conventional naval forces compared to the U.S. Navy, which boasts massive 11 aircraft carriers capable of projecting power across the globe. Iran will counter American carrier strike groups using a combination of swarming speedboat tactics, and there are also reports that suggest Iran may have acquired small submarines from North Korea, adding to its existing arsenal of Ghadar-class midget submarines. Additionally, Iran has developed new stealth, twin-hull attack ships designed to counter larger U.S. destroyers, as well as hidden container ships with missiles. More details all in the video ahead. Shadows over the Indian Ocean, Iran's calculated gambit. If the U.S. were to strike military installations in Iran, war planners in Tehran would immediately pore over maps, plotting a calculated response to this unprecedented show of force. The stage would be set for a conflict where geography, technology, and audacity collide. Now comes to hunting the giants, the American carrier threat. Iran's strategy to neutralize U.S. naval power begins in the congested waters of the Persian Gulf and the Strait of Hormuz. Hundreds of small, high-speed attack boats armed with machine guns, rocket launchers, and anti-ship missiles would swarm American warships, forcing them to defend against multiple threats simultaneously. While U.S. destroyers and carriers boast sophisticated defense systems such as the Aegis Combat System and Phalanx, the sheer volume of an Iranian swarm attack could overwhelm even the most advanced warships, leaving them vulnerable. But Iran's strategy does not rely on swarming tactics alone. In the distance, ships seemingly engaged in normal commercial activity would be carrying a hidden threat. Iran has devised an unconventional yet highly effective way to strike U.S. aircraft carriers, missiles concealed within shipping containers. These containerized missile systems, including the Iranian Noor and Qatar cruise missiles, can be hidden aboard cargo vessels, blending seamlessly with normal maritime traffic. By deploying such disguised vessels in key shipping lanes, Iran could position concealed missile launchers near U.S. naval assets without raising suspicion. Once in range, these container-based missile systems could be remotely activated, launching precision strikes against aircraft carriers and destroyers. The Noor and Qatar missiles, with ranges of up to 300 kilometers, are designed to fly at low altitudes, evading radar detection and making them a formidable threat. The element of surprise would be devastating, as an unassuming
This is how Iran can destroy the United States. US troops across the Middle East are on high alert as Iran and its proxies threaten retaliation following recent escalations. Iran's ambassador and permanent representative to the United Nations in Geneva, Ali Bahreini, told Euronews on June 19th that Tehran will attack the US if Washington crosses the red lines. Most military experts agree that the most probable scenario for Iran to attack the US military bases in the region. The Iranian Revolutionary Guards already said on Sunday that the origin of the US aircraft has been identified and it is under surveillance, emphasizing that American bases in the region are not a source of strength, but a point of heightened vulnerability. Iran's proxy in Yemen, the Houthis, also said on Saturday that they would target US ships in the Red Sea if Washington participates in any potential attack against Israel in cooperation with Israel. We will target US ships and battleships in the Red Sea if Washington participates in the attack on Iran, the group's military spokesperson Yeyev Sori said in a statement published by the group's media outlet. The US has tens of thousands of troops stationed in the Middle East, including at permanent bases in Kuwait, Bahrain, Qatar and the United Arab Emirates, Arab Gulf countries just across the Persian Gulf from Iran, and much closer than Israel. US military presence in the Middle East. Those bases have sophisticated air defenses, but would have much less warning time before waves of missiles or swarms of armed drones. It also depends a lot on the number of drones and missiles used in a possible attack. Even Israel, which is several hundred kilometers further away, has been unable to stop all of the incoming fire. Typically around 30,000 troops are based in the Middle East, and about 40,000 troops are in the region now, according to US officials and AP, that numbers surged as high as 43,000 last October in response to heightened tensions between Israel and Iran, as well as continuous attacks on commercial and military ships in the Red Sea by the Iranian-backed Houthis in Yemen. After June 13th, when Israel first hit Iran to stop its nuclear enrichment program, US forces in the region started taking precautionary measures, including having military dependents voluntarily leave bases in anticipation of potential strikes and to protect personnel in case of a large-scale response from Tehran. US targets at risk amid escalating tensions. US troops across the Middle East are on high alert as Iran and its proxies threaten retaliation, and because US interests in the region were targeted in the past. One difference compared to past attacks and threats, though, is that Iran's proxies, Hezbollah, and Hamas capabilities are much weaker since Israel decimated them after October 2023. Also, Iran has missiles, including ballistic, but not much of an aviation force owing to Western sanctions. US embassies and missions in the Middle East. Al-Asad Air Base in western Iraq, the largest US deployment in the country, has been a frequent target. In 2020, after the US killed Iranian General Qasem Soleimani, Iran launched 16 missiles at American bases in Iraq. 11 hit Al-Asad, wounding dozens. Attacks have continued, with drones and rockets striking the base as recently as August. In January 2024, a drone strike on Tower 22, a small US outpost in Jordan near the Syrian border, killed 3 American troops. The drone strike was the first deadly one against US forces since the Israel-Hamas war started in October 2023. US officials have blamed the attack on the Islamic resistance in Iraq, a coalition of Iran-backed militias, including Kataib Hezbollah. In Bahrain, the US Navy's 5th Fleet operates with around 8,000 personnel. Qatar hosts Al Udeid Air Base, the forward headquarters of US Central Command, which can accommodate up to 10,000 troops. Camp Buring, Ali Al Salem, and Al Dhafra are also key air bases located in Kuwait and the United Arab Emirates. US diplomatic missions in Iraq and Israel have also begun evacuating staff. Officials warn embassies could be targeted alongside military bases. US Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said on X that protecting US forces is our top priority, announcing the deployment of additional forces to bolster regional defenses. Like and subscribe for more. Thanks.